Well, let's talk a little bit about your writing day, and then by God, let's talk about BAT. But you had written in that interview, available exclusively at middlegradeninja.com. As of December of 2018, let's see, your writing process was that you wrote 15 to 20 hours per week. And then you read about 10 hours per week, and you spent another 10 to 15 hours doing businessy stuff, emails, communication with editors, school visits, all that type of stuff. Where are we at now, and how has the pandemic changed that?
I mean, I probably made up those numbers for you for that question.
So it's a little bit different every week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally different every week. The pandemic has definitely changed things. School visits are virtual now, which I think is probably better for the planet. The world doesn't really need to fly me all over the place for me to talk to students as much as I enjoy it. Seems like a pretty big gas carbon footprint, although I'll probably will return to doing some school visits in person nonetheless when the time is available. I mean, it totally depends on where I am. You know, if I'm working on a revision, sometimes I will just work on my revision. And that's, or actually the most intense I usually get is when I'm writing a first draft of something. When I'm creating, I get obsessed with it, and all I can do is think about it, and all I want to do is work on it. And that means that even when I'm not working on it, I'm thinking and dreaming about it. And so, you know, I probably was trying not to be too obnoxious with my estimates, but you know, I mean, I would say that when I'm in the throes of creating a story, when I'm first falling in love with it, it's like a new romance. Like, it's everywhere. It's everything I see. I'm like, that could be in the story. Everywhere I go, I'm like, that person looks kind of interesting and could be in the story. Every experience I have becomes fodder for that creative process. It's like falling in love, you know, it's on your mind all the time. So other stuff might become a little bit less front of mind, like businessy stuff or showering. Like, all I can want to do is work on the thing. When it comes to, so I'd say it's like a season, you know, how I follow, you know, different things become the thing that I'm working on. Now I work for Hamline, so I have students work that comes to me. I'll have packets coming on the 13th. And so I will set aside several days where all I will do is work on my students' packets, and I'll spend the afternoons on various other businessy stuff, but I won't have any headspace to be creative or work on my own revision even. And that's why my students find me to be such a responsive teacher, is because I set aside those first few days just to work on their work, and then I'm off it goes, and I'm back to my thing. So I respond very quickly to students' work for that reason. So, you know, lots of reasons. One is I'm really excited to read what they wrote. Another one is because I can't necessarily hold both things in my head at the same time, so I have to clear it away. But those numbers you read, you know, are probably vaguely accurate. Although I don't think I ever stopped being a writer, you know? So I guess it's 24 hours a day even that stories are on my mind in one form or another.
I hope the students appreciate that the rest of us are not going to maybe get another book that would have been available had they not had your complete attention.
But their books will be, and I'll have gotten to put my hand into their process and hopefully help them find out what their multitudes are, and help them find the stories that are most specifically, organically, uniquely their own. And that is a great privilege as a writer, when another writer allows you into their head, and when you have the time and space to go in, it's a huge act of faith to share your work with a teacher or a mentor, and to allow them, you know, or an editor actually, to allow them to put their oar in, as Matthew and Marilla used to say about the raising of Anne. So I am grateful to my students who let me do it. And I actually learn a lot about writing from being forced to say why something that's in their story isn't working, and figuring out why isn't it working. Almost always I go, oh yeah, I do that thing too. And now I'm a better writer from having had the opportunity to muck around in their stories.
Yeah, I never understand writers who don't read or who don't want to critique other people. So what are you talking about? If you're going to run an obstacle course, the first thing you want is somebody else to run it ahead of you and see where they fall down. And then you can go in there and it's a little bit smoother for you.
It is really helpful. Yeah, absolutely.
How much time are you spending at Hamline?
Well, we have residency every January and July. It's a low residency program. So it's 12 days twice a year. 3 is my ideal number of students. And they send me a packet of work 4 times during the semester, which I then respond to. And then the last couple of years, we've been Zooming after they have had some time to think about my response. We have a conversation.
That's got to be incredibly competitive to get in the program. If you could be one of 3 working one-on-one exclusively with you.
Well, there's a lot of us at the program. There's a number of us teachers, and I learned so much from my fellow faculty. Lisa Young-Plow and Co Booth and Brandy Colbert and Elliot Schrafer and Nina LaCour. I mean, we have this incredible faculty, Laura Ruby, Ann Ursu, Kelly Barnhill, Meg Medina. It's such a fantastic, I learned so much from going to residency and listening to my mentors talk. So I think it's a fantastic program. So I do that, but I also teach online. I teach 2 courses. One is called Revision Season, which I just finished up with. It's a 7-week deep dive intensive course into revising a novel. And then I also teach a class called Vision Season, which is a 7-week deep dive into questions around where do our ideas come from and how can we find more of them. So I teach those sort of a few times a year. And you can visit me at elanakarnold.com to learn more about those classes if you're curious.